Very good morning, students. Now, next third chapter is current electricity, and till now you did electrostatics where charges were at rest. Now we will do current electricity. Now, according to the definition, it is branch of physics which deals with the charges in motion. Okay, in electrostatic charges were at rest. In electricity, charges are in motion. Now, how will you define the first term? Important term is electric current, and how do we define? 10th class you must have done it. So it is the rate of flow of the charge. Okay, rate of flow of charge. So charge per unit time. And how will you define direction? Direction, conventionally it was taken that the direction of flow of charge, positive charge, is taken as direction of current. So if you have, you see, if you have a positron or a proton which is moving in this direction, then current will be in this direction. But if you have an electron moving in this direction, then the current will be in the opposite direction, because electron is a negative charge. That's how we have taken it conventionally. Okay, and suppose you have a positive ion. In case of electrolyte, you have positive and negative ions. So what happens if positive charge is going this side? Current is in this direction. If you have a negative charge moving this side, current will be in this direction. Okay, in semiconductors we have electrons and holes. Hole is basically vacancy of electrons. So if you have a hole which is moving this side, the current is also in the same direction, because hole is a considered to be a positive charge. Okay, then instantaneous current. Suppose your current is not constant. It keeps on changing. So instantaneous current is dq by dt. Small change in current upon small time at that particular instant is instantaneous current. And then how will it what is the unit? It is coulomb per second. So for steady current, if current is suppose constant, then it is q by t. Okay, and coulomb per ampere per second will be the unit, SI unit, which is also known as ampere. Okay, and it's a scalar quantity. Now current is a scalar quantity, although we do mention its direction, but it is a scalar quantity. It is not vector. Why? Because it does not follow vector law of addition. Any quantity which does not follow vector law of addition is not a vector. Okay, so now you see here is an example. Suppose there are 3 wires. Now current 1 ampere is coming this side, 2 ampere is coming this side, 3 ampere will go this side. Okay, no matter what this angle theta is, if I keep on changing this angle between these 2 wires, even then this I3 will remain 3 ampere only. It's not going to change unless I change I1 and I2. So that means theta does not have any role to play in the magnitude of I3. That means it's a scalar quantity. Because it is a scalar quantity, theta does not have any role. Okay, so current is, although direction is important here, but current is a scalar quantity because it does not follow parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay, then come to current carriers. Now when we talk charge moving, charge flows, so what are these current carriers? Current carriers are the free charges. Now in different types of material we have different types of free charge. Like in solids, conductor, because conductor will conduct. Insulators, they don't have a free charge. So in solid, when we talk about conductors like metals, there are valence electrons. The free electrons are valence electrons. They are responsible for, they are the current carriers and responsible for current. Okay, now insulator, there are no free carriers. Then we have a semiconductor, which you will also, this topic is also the last chapter of 12th class. But in semiconductors, what do we have? Valence electrons are there, but holes are also there. Electrons and holes both. In conductors only electrons, but here valence electrons and holes both are there. Electron is a negative charge, but hole is a vacancy of electrons, so it is considered to be a positive charge, although there is no charge there. But it is a vacancy of electrons, so considered positive. So whatever is the direction of hole, same will be the direction of current. Whatever is the direction of electron, opposite is the direction of the current. Now come to gases. Now what? Liquids also. Liquid is basically electrolyte. So if you just mix a copper sulfate in water, that solution will be electrolyte. If you mix salt in water, that will be electrolyte. Electrolyte consists positive, because the ion the molecule dissociates and ions are present in it, positive negative ions. So the positive negative ions are the charged ions. These are the current carriers. Okay. Then you have gases. In gases, generally gases, if you talk air only, if we consider air, it is neutral. It is inert. There are no charge carriers. But if you supply very large electric field or potential to it, so that the dielectric strength of the medium breaks, changes, you cross the dielectric strength. So what will happen, the ions which are present in it, the molecules which are present in it, they will get ionized, and the moment they get ionized, they will be free, certainly there will be the electrons and positive ions present. So electrons and the positive ions which present due to an ionization of the gas molecules will be the charge carriers here, or current carriers. Okay, now electromotive force. The name says force, but actually this is EM, also short form is EMF. This is not actually force. Its unit will not be Newton. Okay, although the name force comes, but unit is not Newton, it's not force. How will you define it? It is not a force, but it is maximum work done in making a unit charge move once around the closed circuit. Okay, maximum work done in taking a unit charge once around the closed circuit. Unit charge है तो work upon charge है, W by Q formula will be there. So joules per coulomb is the SI unit, which is also volts. Okay, now source of EMF. From where do we get the source of EMF? Cell, battery, generator, dynamo, anything. Any of these things will be a source of EMF. EMF of cell. Now, because here we studied cell, so how do you define EMF of a cell? So EMF of a cell is the maximum potential difference between two electrodes. In cell there are electrodes positive, negative. So maximum potential difference between two electrodes of a cell when no current is drawn from the cell, or a cell is in open circuit. Here it is maximum work done. This is a general definition. But when we talk about cell, this is the specific definition. General definition still holds, but this is also the definition for a cell. Okay, when cell no current is drawn from the cell, or cell is in open circuit. So see, here is your cell. E is the EMF of the cell, and cell means there will be positive and negative electrodes, and the ions will move in between. And what will happen in their motion? There will be some opposition, that is internal resistance. This is your external resistance. In this circuit, current will flow like this. Okay. Now this current will be equal to EMF divided by this R plus R. So cross multiplying, I get this. Now you say this EMF is equal to IR, which is the potential drop across this resistor, plus some extra. Now this extra is actually the potential drop inside the cell. Okay. Now this is the maximum potential difference. Some of this is dropped here itself when it is in a closed circuit. That is why when the definition comes for EMF, we mention that open circuit. What will happen in open circuit? This will not be there. If this is not there, current is not there. If current is not there, in open circuit, if current is not there, this potential drop in the cell itself will not be there. So the terminal potential difference will be same as E. Okay, so that is why in the definition you have to mention open circuit. If you miss open circuit, then you'll miss your marks. Okay, types of electric current. Now types of electric current, one is steady current. Steady, the name itself says constant, steady, it's not changing. So the magnitude of the current does not change with time. Okay, it does not change with time. So if you have to plot this graph, current versus time graph, it will be a straight line. With time is changing, with current is not changing. Okay, then the other is varying current. Varying current may magnitude of the current changes with time. So here you see this curve, zigzag curve, any curve which is not a straight line. Even if I draw this kind of a straight line, there current is changing with time. So all these are varying current. A special kind of varying current is alternating current. Okay, and there's entire chapter related to alternating current. A current whose magnitude changes continuously with time and direction changes periodically is called alternating current. And the simplest one is the sine curve or a cos curve, which represents alternating current. Okay, children, thank you.